welcome to another edition of Game Marmalade.
I've lost count of what number this is.
Yeah, no, we've given up. I feel like we've given up
Yeah.
with that. That's fine. It's just another,
Might
March,
be 10-ish, maybe? I don't know.
our March edition, because they seem to be coming out a lot more sparsely than previously. In any case, I'm hosting today, the Panda, and with me I have
Peter?
And Ibs.
And so we're going to talk about games and the like.
Yep.
We're unfortunately missing Henry, which is also unfortunate because I will be talking about the Switch, which
And
he's the person who got it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll talk more about it next week. But obviously we've got to mention it. So starting off with some news, the Switch. It's been out for a bit. How long has it been out for now?
Couple of weeks, like 2 weeks.
Right.
I think,
Yeah.
maybe?
So I think something really interesting I found was that apparently it is outselling the Wii.
Interesting.
Which
Okay.
I did not expect. Only within the first at launch, and
That's still impressive.
I'm
Yeah.
not too surprised, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, people really like Nintendo, and the Wii U flopped, so they were just kind of wanting to jump onto it a bit, I guess. And they really, really upped their advertising game. Like, I saw good Switch adverts everywhere.
Whereas all of the ones for the Wii U were terrible. Well, another thing I wonder as well is it might also have something to do with the stock issues. Because I remember when the Wii came out, they were like near impossible to get on release. They were so difficult. So like obviously they changed over time. The Wii U had that issue as well, where they just didn't release a lot of them. Maybe they've upped it. I don't know if they've improved.
well, the Wii is currently the best-selling console of all time, isn't it? I believe.
Maybe the PS2, because the PS2 was still selling.
Right.
Like it's probably still selling now.
Yeah,
Like,
but I heavily suspect the Switch will not take that level of title, but
No.
it did well at launch.
yeah.
Is essentially
Yeah.
but it's good. And so I mean the number of games that have released on it. So you might expect the sales to keep on going for a bit because of course not that many games have released for it so far.
Yeah.
I think Breath of the Wild, which once again the
Yeah.
only person who can talk
Yeah.
about in detail is Henry, not here. But
That's the only game he has, I think.
So the reviews are stellar for that game.
Yes, really good.
Like, so many 10 out of 10
Exactly.
across the board.
Yeah, it has. I think it's on Metacritic. It's taken the record for the most perfect scores on any individual title, which is
Right.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, from looking at it, it looks really good. It's definitely something I'd love to play, but I wouldn't get a Switch for it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Like, a thing that, like, seeing people talk about it, one thing that I've seen brought up a lot is just the amount of, like, thought and attention put into it. There's, like, a lot of very conditional text. So, like, if you're standing on the side of a bridge and an NPC sees you, they say, "No, don't jump."
Yeah.
Or if you, like, stand next to a dog and start spinning, the dog will start spinning, chasing its tail and stuff like that.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
A thing I saw yesterday where, because basically you can knock the weapons out of enemies' hands and they'll try and grab another one, which I thought was quite cool. Someone was like, what happens if there's like no weapons around? Like you literally steal the weapon and like throw it in a river or something like that. And he was fighting like a group of enemies and he threw away all of their weapons. And then the biggest one of the group started picking up the smaller ones and swinging them around as weapons.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just little touches like that, and I thought the game looked good, and I hadn't even heard about these things that you've sort of been talking about. Like it just looks so fantastic. It's a lot about exploration, open world. It sounds really good. And the addition of there's a few glitches here and there which I always love. As you showed me that GIF the other day of. He got knocked off onto a cliff. He's like fighting something. He gets knocked off and like grabs onto a cliff. And he looks to his left, and there's a horse standing like vertically looking at him. And then it begins to run and just like slides down the mountain. But
Yeah, I've heard it is very, very good. I've tried to avoid looking into it too much, like watching too many videos of it, just because I'm definitely going to get it, but I'm going to wait a little while.
Yeah, this is the first Zelda that I actually want to play, so I'll probably
exactly.
just play with it after you're done with it.
Yeah, you're welcome to. So yeah, I'm probably going to wait and get a Switch with it, because I'd quite like to get a Switch as well. So, but I want to wait for a few more titles to come out for it.
I mean, I think. Yeah, it's a really good. Well, I mean, I think one of the things that's also really boosting its sales is a lot of people are buying the Switch with, because of course it's the sort of the big release title, so they're buying it with that.
It really surprised me they didn't do a bundle or something like that, where it was like buy the Switch and get the Zelda with it, and it's like maybe even just like a green console or something.
thought that. Oh, you mean
not? But it's not. You can't buy them together. Like
can you not? I thought
Nintendo weren't selling them together.
Oh, okay, right.
Shops might be doing it, but because like when I got my Wii U, I got it with Mario Kart 8, and it was just a bundle that came with it. They also did a similar thing for Wind Waker HD. Like Nintendo's always been doing these sort of bundles, but they just didn't do it for this. It was really strange.
Yeah.
Even with like the 3DSs and stuff, there's like so many like bundle editions where it's got like a decal on it or something.
Yeah, because I've got a Monster Hunter 4. Yeah, Monster Hunter 4 new 3DS.
Yes, that's the other interesting. Not really tied too heavily to this, but on decals and things, I have seen like there's a Horizon Zero Dawn decal for PS4s right now. I didn't actually hear. That's something we'll talk a bit about Horizon Zero Dawn later, I'm sure. But that's something which I don't listen to a lot of advertising and stuff anymore. But I didn't really hear about it that much. I didn't realise, but it's been really big.
It got a little overshadowed by Zelda, I think.
Right.
Because they're similar-ish in like their sort of fantasy open world.
Like I saw a lot of people playing it on Twitch, and now they're all playing Zelda.
Yeah. I've heard it is very good, and because both you guys have PS4 or have access to PS4.
Yes.
So, I'd definitely say try it.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
It's my next game to buy.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something I'll be playing in the coming weeks.
But going back to decals though, you can't actually put decals on the Joy Me controllers.
The Joy-Cons.
Because it like just like there's like a layer on it that gets destroyed by the adhesive.
I've seen that because there was some company who makes the decals was posting about
it. We couldn't do it. We bought like 20 switches just to test this out, and it just doesn't work. So I want to refund everyone that bought pre-ordered them. And
So a couple of things about what we've just been talking about. So firstly, I just thought I'd mention this something a little bit funny about Zelda. I think one of the developers for Zelda played a little bit of it, and all he could do was climb trees.
That was Miyamoto. He wasn't directly involved with the development of it. They were they were just showing it off to him. He was just climbing trees.
Yeah, just climbing trees. Like
he is just a child. It's amazing.
It's the small things in life, and then in addition to that, so actually on the subject of about how well Horizon Zero Dawn and Zelda are doing in the UK sellings, Horizon Zero Dawn is actually beating Zelda.
Really? Okay.
Which is actually interesting.
Guess it's on an established console. I don't actually know how well it's been. Zelda's been selling on Wii U as well, because I assume there's fewer copies released to it, but I don't know because I don't know anyone who's played it on that Wii U one at all.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So moving on. So always got to have a dose of talking about Overwatch.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because so there's been quite a few things that have happened recently. So beginning with the Bastion changes.
Yes.
So that's the first thing they did recently, where they completely changed Bastion. So before, everybody would always get annoyed at him because you did turn a corner, have a triple kill play of the game by Bastion, where
you sit in one place.
Does so much damage. Yeah. But he was reaching an all-time low in terms of the amount of people who played him because, of course, people learned to counter him. At first, everybody was so angry.
Yeah.
And the devs kept on going, no, just learn to counter him. And over time, people eventually learned this, instead of being angry about it. And then recently, they went, okay, so what we're going to do is now when he's in turret and tank form, he's going to take 35% reduced damage. He can heal himself while moving.
And while taking damage as well. That's the big thing.
Yeah, exactly. And they essentially there's a lot of buffs, and now he's gone from one of probably the least played character to one of the highest played characters. And the interesting thing about it is one of the devs for the game even played. He says he plays the game regularly, which is good to hear. But he said he played Bastion, and he even said, he goes, I don't know if I should say this being spokesperson of Overwatch, but I think Bastion's a little bit too powerful right now.
Yeah.
But obviously when somebody's a little bit too powerful, everybody rages and the internet's going mad about it.
Yeah.
I think they're planning on changing him back soon.
At least they'll probably change some of the things to it. I think that one of the main things for it is his ability to heal through damage and everything. So I feel like it would be a bit more balanced if as soon as he starts taking damage, it breaks his ability to keep healing, so he can't do things like just sit in the middle of an ult and heal through it if he's got enough health initially.
I think the other issue is that now his damage output is so high that characters previously they'd be in a situation where they could survive long enough to possibly take him on, just die.
Yeah.
So I've heard multiple people talk about the fact that Zarya meant to, one of the people who can be reasonably good, or like even traces and people like that who are meant to get around behind him and just kill him like that cannot do it because he has damage reduction. He just turns around and shoots them.
I think with Tracer, it's like you have to use 2 full clips to do enough damage to kill him. When and like
people like Farah who were meant to counter before have gone from like I think it would take her 3 shots to kill before, and now it's like 5 or even more than that. And that's without healing.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to kill to do a Bastion right now. But we'll see if that changes with the new character they're adding.
Yes, the new character.
Ariza. It's a new tank. So I think they've done one of each class now, apart from defense.
Yes.
So they're probably going to bring out another. Well, who knows what they're going to bring out next? But hopefully Doomfist. Hopefully voiced by Terry Crews. That's what I'm hoping for. But anyway, so this new character seems.
Have you seen much of the new character?
I've not seen anything about
the
new character.
New character's cool.
So, as far as I can see, she's a very hold and defend character.
She's meant to be similar to Reinhardt.
Yeah, but I think she's even better at it, really.
The only thing I've seen about Eraser is the silly meme where they try and replicate her stopping a car and then getting ragdolled off the map.
yeah. So her abilities are she has a Gatling gun, which they've already nerfed apparently. So so that's her only offensive ability.
Yeah.
Which is I think one of the things which is going to be difficult to balance because the entirety of her damage comes from that, and therefore. In a lot of matchups, you've really got to finely balance that because if it's too powerful, she's just going to be really OP, or if it's too weak, she won't be able to kill anybody at all.
Yeah.
But then she can put down like a shield, which actually has less health than Symmetra's shield.
Yeah.
But obviously
it stays
in one place. Yeah. And then she has an ability which means she ignores status effects for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is also the duration of Zarya's ultimate.
So she can walk through. She can also walk through May's ult. She can tank a charge from Reinhardt.
Yeah.
So if Reinhardt charges her, then he just bounces off and he gets stunned instead of her.
You still take damage, but you take half damage. You take half damage during that thing as well.
Yeah.
Reinhardt's ultimate, the Roadhog's hook, Roadhog's ultimate, the knockback.
Yeah.
Winston's ultimate, any sort of like knockback or anything like that doesn't affect.
Do you have to press it before it hits?
Yes.
Okay, so you can't just interrupt while.
Yeah, because that'd be so for things like Black Hole, Zarya's ultimate and Graviton Surge, you can do that because of course there's nothing like disabling you during that. So if you get sucked into that, you just press it and then walk away. But obviously you can't. So that although it seems interesting that it lasts specifically the amount of time Graviton Surge does. Of course, she has no abilities to get other people out. So it doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
She can just act as a distraction, I think, and also her other ability is good for that.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
So her other ability is a mini version of Graviton Surge.
So you can pull people away, and you can pull people up in the air.
You shoot a projectile, and you can detonate. I think you can detonate it when you want.
Yeah, you fire it, and it explodes after a certain amount of time, or you can just right click while it's in the air, so you can fire it directly up in the sky and then do it, and it pulls people.
Pulls people towards a point. So it's another way of I think. It will be used sometimes for like environmental kills. You can pull people off edges with it, possibly.
The main thing I've seen it for is actually it makes Reinhardt's ultimate really, really good because in previously it's not just that, it's the fact that currently the main counter to a Reinhardt is another Reinhardt because his shield just blocks the whole ult.
Oh, you can pull him up in the air.
So you just pull him up in the air and it hits everyone underneath it. So you just like fire this thing up in the air and then drag.
And of course, it lasts like his ultimate lasts like a small amount of time as well. So maybe if that Reinhardt then lands on it, he'll also get stunned.
Well, you can still get hit as if you're moving upwards. As long as he's a little bit off the ground, he gets hit.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting then. Well, good. It's always interesting to see them trying out new mechanics with the new characters and things like that. And then her ultimate is a ability that anybody in line of sight. Well, I think it may be limited by range as well. Gets damage boosted.
Okay.
So it's like a team damage boost, but you put it down on the ground. I think the only abuse of that I've seen is once again you can stick it to the basketball right now, or like you could, so you could just like put it on the basketball and hit it around, so it's following you around and stuff like that. But so a very hold point. I think even more than Reinhardt, because Reinhardt just has the shield for holding a point.
Yeah.
And then he's got to like charge or something or swing of his hammer, whereas this character puts down a shield, can ignore status effects, can buff people, and then can like do some some moving of characters and things. So I think it'll be
like body block and stuff like that, because you said you take reduced damage.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like a good tank. Most of the tanks don't act as you would consider a tank to standardly act like.
Reinhardt's like the only one who I would consider to be a proper tank.
The other characters are more like they act as distractions or like
they just have a lot of health and less damage.
Yeah,
so.
it's more they sort of, when you see them, they're either annoying, like Winston and Diva are annoying in your back lines.
Yeah.
Roadhog is kill that guy before he hooks anybody.
Yeah.
And then Zarya kind of shields other people, which so she's kind of like a supporty tank. But it'll be interesting to see how it works out. Now, in addition to all of that, they're doing a number of rather big changes to other characters in this current PTR patch. Some of which I'm excited about, some of which I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
So firstly, Junkrat no longer damages himself with grenades.
I don't think that makes that much of a difference, I've found.
It doesn't, but there's been many a time where, like, have you ever been in a close range encounter with Junkrat? He is terrifying at close range, and that's when he would damage himself.
True, like if I've played, I think Junkrat's my second most played character. But I don't think I've ever been in that much of a situation where I'm like, oh, I've got to be really careful because I'm really close. Because I could damage myself. Because it doesn't actually do that much damage to you.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But all I'm saying is, in the situation that, like... Because a lot of the time in that situation, you don't say to yourself, I'm not going to shoot because I'm going to hit yourself. You shoot them anyway.
Yeah.
But that extra damage is
something
going towards them winning the fight, right? True. Now that's gone. So, like, characters, like... I don't know. I personally, Junkrat needs a buff, so we'll see how it goes. But it's just annoying because I find Junkrat an annoying character, and now he's even more annoying.
Yeah.
But we may see a whole line of people trying to be suicide Junkrats, where they just run in and just gun everybody close range and then blow up.
I don't think it's going to make that huge a difference with Junkrat, considering he's still most effective doing the really annoying thing, which is like standing, firing a stream of projectiles like in an area, because they'll do a lot of damage.
I think it's probably a good thing because it means his matchups at close range are better. So he's better against Reaper, he's better against like Tracer and people like that because he doesn't have to worry at close range anymore. So it's just it's interesting. So they're also so actually there's been two changes recently. So firstly they were going to debuff Anna in 3 different ways. I think they've redone some. So I think they nerfed her grenade so it was going to do half healing, as well as the half buff. But they've changed that back. They've decreased her damage now, so she can't. Because so many people play Anna as DPS and just shoot the enemies instead of healing.
Yeah, she does do a lot of damage. So.
And Zenyatta's Discord was going to go through shields. I think they've swapped.
I really liked that. I thought that would have been a good change for him.
I don't really. Yeah, I think it was a good change, but I don't really see it being even mattering that often. Because if you're discording somebody behind a shield, they're still behind the shield.
But then you have characters like Junkrat and like Farah who can do stuff like, I'm discorded, so now because I'm behind the shield, I'm fine. But if there's a Farah up there, I could take a couple of hits and just die, so I've got to actually move out of the way.
Yeah, but I think he needs something more, but we'll see what they do with that. And then the one which I'm really excited about was Winston's shield goes on to cooldown when you use it now instead of when it gets destroyed.
That basically amounts to like the cooldown is reduced by about a third, I think it is. Which is quite good.
Is that on average?
Assuming it doesn't get destroyed, as soon as it lives its entire lifetime without getting popped, it'll go. The cooldown's about a third.
Right. Oh, so that's 4 seconds, is it?
Yeah.
Because I think his cooldown's 12 seconds. I mean, the thing is that one of the big things about Winston is everybody complains about it. He dies pretty quickly in a lot of scenarios, and he's meant to be getting into those back lines and taking care of people, but he dies so quickly that you can't often do it. So if you can use the shield more often, yay. Winston needs buffs, so I'm glad to hear he's getting some love. Right. In any case, on to other things. So, what interested me actually is Rock Band is coming out with VR now.
I saw about that the other day and I'd completely forgotten. I must have read about it somewhere, but I had no idea.
How is Rock Band going to be enhanced by VR, Panda?
All I've seen is that they've been the songs they've released on it, which is so they've done a lot. So like, I think just so okay, they've done.
Is it just like Rock Band where you're on a stage or something?
Yeah,
possibly?
I think you're just on the stage and you can look around. Yeah, you still use the instruments.
Okay.
So I think it's the only difference is you can just see everything going on around you.
Do you look down and see it as like a real guitar? That'd be cool.
Ooh, I wonder.
I assume that would be a main thing they would focus on.
I haven't seen it.
The one thing that would concern me is, say I have 3 other friends who also want to play the game. I have to own now 4 VR sets to be able to play this game, plus 4 plastic instruments.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah, you need all the... That's a really good point. Needing a lot of VR sets is... So it looks like you don't see your own character, you just see the other characters.
Okay, again, this just sounds pointless then.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't understand the point of Rock Band.
I guess if you already have it... If you already have that, I'm not saying because like it does enhance it, but nowhere near enough to buy a headset.
Rock Band is so like desperate for new ideas; they're willing to latch onto everything and anything.
Yeah. I mean, like I love Rock Band. I think Rock Band 3 is genuinely one of my favourite games like of all time. Like the amount of time I've spent in that one, just because it's such a good party game. But I don't think they've done anything at all that improves on Rock Band 3. Really, like. In Rock Band 3, they basically just perfected it and then sort of didn't really know where to go from there. Like, they perfected what they had. So, it's really easy to get into a song. Everything's, like, available from the beginning. Like, no fail modes even on by default. So, it's literally just like, oh, I've never played this game before. It doesn't matter. Just hand the controller over to someone. It's great. I really like that game. But
the thing is that they should have, like, tried to go, like, the GTA 5 route somehow. And just, instead of releasing, like, a new copy every, like, few months or something stupid that like they were doing, they should have just had one and then kind of just maintain that one and
treat it like a platform.
Yeah.
Because like even obviously they had like the song store and everything, but they could have done things like, oh, now we're selling a thing where it's like it changes the look of stuff. You get new characters to unlock and just like little tiny things you could have done and people would have paid for it.
Or like timed packs where you can like you can pay, you can buy this pack and then you have like these songs for like 2 months or something.
Yeah,
like it would have been a bit cheeky, but I would have accepted it.
I quite liked the Guitar Hero, the latest Guitar Hero game that came out. Their system, which was you don't buy any of the songs specifically. They have like music channels running constantly.
Okay.
And you can pay to play the songs on the music channel at the time. They have lots of different channels that run different songs throughout the day, which is quite cool. And then you can pay extra money to sort of play the songs whenever you want, or you can just use the like tokens that you unlock for free to just play what they've got, which is quite cool.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Yeah, that was an interesting change to the system, but yeah, I don't think the new Rock Band really did anything like that.
Yeah, it's weird because it was the when those games were announced, people went pretty well, especially the full band versions. People were really crazy about it. And they are really fun, but they just don't get they just don't get brought out very often anymore. You know,
the market got saturated a bit, and it died off. Yeah.
And the thing is, though, there are like free equivalents that like do the software really well, but it's hard to get the hardware in decent like condition nowadays.
That's the hardware is the difficulty. So another thing, so I haven't actually looked enough into it. It's a game that really interests me, but something that's come out recently is I will probably mispronounce this, Nier Automata.
I've heard a lot about that.
Yeah. It looks fantastic.
What genre of game is it?
I think it is sort of. It is definitely.
It's like a hack and slash.
Yeah. It's that sort of thing, but probably more JR. Like similar to a lot of the sort of things that are coming out recently. I feel like sort of Final Fantasy 15 and where the combat is like there's action combat, but there's some sort of it's a story driven game.
Cool.
Something which I just thought was something which really caught my eye about it actually recently was I heard that you can actually buy the trophies with in-game money.
You mean like the on the PlayStation?
Yeah. So you can buy the platinum trophy. If you can't be bothered to just max everything out, you can buy it. In-game.
I haven't owned a PlayStation since the PlayStation 1. What does platinum get you? Is it actually just a thing?
Platinum is trophies are all just to show off to other people or like to level.
I just assumed there was something for getting all of them.
No. So sorry, the platinum trophy is for doing every single achievement.
That's a specific.
But does it put something on your profile saying like this person has this platinum?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, I was expecting.
People are crazy about that.
Okay.
Well, it's just nice to have because I went through the effort to platinum Bloodborne. Even though platinum it was slightly tedious.
Yeah, I can get that if you're doing it for the sort of the challenge of doing it, but I can't see why someone would pay for it. Like,
and it's not real money; it's in-game money.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes. As in the game allows you to get the achievement. There's a secret shop which you find apparently after your on your third play. You can find on your third playthrough
okay.
where you can pay with in-game money for achievement.
I can kind of see it if it's like, oh, you've played the game 3 times and you still haven't got this achievement. Maybe you just missed it, or you're not very good.
Yeah. Well, like people tend towards like wanting to achievement hunt and stuff like that. When there are trophies to get, people go for them.
Yeah, but I imagine that would piss those people off if it's like, this person could just buy the trophy. Like, it belittles my achievement if this person's just got the same mark on their account and they didn't do any of this stuff.
I don't think people care about other people's trophies though. They just want to get it so they have it.
I guess, yeah. I would be interested to see what someone who like really cares about achievement hunting. Like, there are some people who I've spoken to who is like massive for them. Like, if a game has achievement that's just really, really tough to unlock and it's really awkward, they'll get mad. They'll be annoyed by it.
Jamie has done this.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think of the games where I think he got angry trying to platinum Final Fantasy 13, possibly. But I don't know whether that was because it was difficult or because he didn't want to play the game anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I got annoyed once due to an achievement because I did a thing that I think many other people have done, where in Half-Life 2, where you have to just use one bullet, and you have to use the one bullet on a lock, and you have a shotgun, and there are 2 buttons. One fires 1 bullet, and the other one fires 2 bullets, and I fired 2 bullets, I think, because that was the only time I fired my gun, and I didn't get the achievement.
Oh man, that is the worst. It's like in Deus Ex Human Revolution, where you're trying to do a kill nobody, but you don't realise in the tutorial section where they only give you a lethal gun and nothing else to fight with, that you're not meant to kill people in the opening section.
Yeah, I did the same thing in the first Dishonored game, because it tells you at the end of the level if you've killed someone.
Yeah.
But it was like, I accidentally knocked a guard out and dropped him into water, and if their head touches water in that game, the way it works is they instantly die. It just kills them. Yeah. So I did that, and I was like, I can't bother to start this level again. The game will probably get harder at doing this, and I just finished the rest of the game without killing anyone. I was like, damn it, I should have just restarted the level at the beginning.
Rats for me.
I never really had. Everyone said about that problem. I never had that issue.
Piles of bodies on tables and chairs and things.
I used to just leave people where I found them, and I never had them die from rats.
I think if you were going for how much did you interact with guards?
I mean, I wouldn't get spotted. So.
Yeah. No, but I mean, as in like, if you, how often did you knock out guards and leave their bodies around? Is what I'm saying.
I guess like only when they were in the way.
There was certain parts of the game where like, and I think it's, I think there's certain parts of the game where there's rats floating around specifically rather than.
Yeah.
Do they randomly spawn? I can't remember. I think
they have specific places that they do spawn in.
as well. But okay. Yeah, so. Something which is quite interesting was in Australia, the Green Party, if they get in, they've promised to donate $4 million to video game development.
Okay, that's really weird considering how terrible Australia is to the games industry.
Maybe that's
games
why
are so expensive there.
Maybe that's why they're doing it. But it's like encouraging independent gaming rather than like not the corporations, but like developing independent gaming and stuff like that. It's just nice to see gaming taking a bigger role. Like people are starting to accept it as a.
I imagine also they're noticing. Hey, wait a second. People are making a lot of money off these things. Maybe we should like pay attention a little bit.
I think it's a combination of the romanticization of like geek culture and Twitch becoming a huge thing as well as YouTube. That it becomes not just people in their basements, and it's just people's like lives. Like at this point.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd. Mention, I don't know if it interests anybody, but Conan Exiles.
That's the survival game, right?
It is, yeah. So it's so previously, if anybody has not seen it, there is the endowment slider, which is hilarious.
I've not seen this.
So survival game
and endowment physics as well. So essentially, like you can change the size of your schlong, and then the physics in it is just ridiculous as well. But so it actually looks like it's doing the early access thing, but it actually they seem to be doing quite a few interesting things. They're bringing in there's siege equipment coming in and stuff now. It's and like they're actually fleshing out to be an interesting game. It is actually something interesting on the endowment slider. That's not occurring on the consoles. That's only on PC. What? That's an interesting choice to make. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's strange.
Maybe PC gamers like that choice. I don't know.
That also reminds me of years and years ago. They also made a MMO, the Age of Conan MMO, and you literally, as part of the game, you could just take off all of your armor and you would be naked. And as a result, most people you came across in the game were just running around naked.
Yes.
Everyone,
of course,
was, yeah,
of course you would.
Yeah.
People can't resist that sort of thing. So another game, which has been recently announced, is Shadow of War, the sequel to Shadow of Mordor.
Yes. Did anyone see the gameplay trailer?
Yes.
Or the gameplay video? It was like 15 minutes long.
Oh, I haven't seen the entire of that thing, but I've seen a little bit of it. Do you want to?
I sat and watched the entire 15 minutes. It was actually really. Basically, they did. Instead of being entirely open world this time, it's more like instanced. So you'll say, oh, for this one, I'm going to attack this specific fortress, and this fortress controls this area of the map.
Yeah.
So you have allies on your team, so he goes in with it, and I think now in this one you're not referred to as the Ranger at all, you're just the Bright Lord, because you're like taking over all of these areas of Mordor. But you have a few captains of your own, and they'll do certain things like you'll have armoured cavalry, so the armoured monsters that can run through fire without getting hurt. So they'll help you at certain times. But there are cool things like there'll be guys that were previously on your side who will betray you if you continuously pass them up for promotion, and then they'll join the other side and you'll come across them. And there's stuff like, I'm trying to think of a good example. In the fight, when you're fighting against the war chief of this area, he was like a fire-using guy and was like kind of beating the person playing the demo. It's a scripted event for it, but because he happened to have a guy who was like immune to fire, in the boss battle, this guy just burst through a wall and just started helping you and started attacking this guy who had like armoured cavalry with him. And yeah, but it's cool. Lots of cool little stuff like that. It looks... They've added a hell of a lot of stuff in terms of orcs being on your side.
Right.
It's very strange. Like, you are literally trying to help your army get through this base rather than just killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like I think they have honed in on the good... Sounds like they've honed in on the good part of the first game, which was the Nemesis system. It was interesting having interactions with these other orcs, but it wasn't particularly complicated, and they had a lot of other stuff, which I don't know, it didn't really tie in, it was kind of separate, and I don't know if anybody...
Also, I don't know if it was because it was a few hours into the game, but you seem even more overpowered than you did in the previous one. Like, you just cut through guys. Like, there was never a point in the demo where he was like normal orcs causing any issue whatsoever, you're just wrecking them. But there are specific... Because you, as part of the story of it, you have one of the Rings of Power. Like, he makes a new one. But there are specific orcs who are, like, touched by Sauron and have, like, dark magic running through them and stuff like that. And they can block your use of the ring and stuff like that, which is quite cool. But, like, against normal ones, you can just, like, do ridiculous things like making stuff explode and throwing guys around and things. It's really nice.
It sounds like they're going more in the direction of sort of Dynasty Warriors or whatever. when you have all the mooks and it's just the captains which you care about and things like that. It's interesting. I mean, like the ability to control your own army. You know, there's a lot that can be done with that. So I'm interested to see how they'll go with that.
It looks really fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, okay. So also, I thought I'd just mention, Uncharted 4 got nominated for 8 BAFTAs.
What?
Pretty mental.
Okay, did you play Uncharted 4?
Yes.
I mean, I heard people liking it, but...
I think it came very close in second Game of the Year. It was expected to be Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And it came very close and then lost to Overwatch.
Okay,
which is understandable because there were so
that was
many
everywhere,
Overwatches. But Uncharted 4 was really highly held and...
So what were the BAFTAs it won then?
So no, it got nominated. Not sure how many it won. So for audio, artistic, best game, other things as well.
Yeah, that's quite impressive.
There's quite a few ones you can get nominated for, apparently.
It's kind of weird. Like games like Uncharted is one of those games where, because I've not really ever owned a PS4 or anything or a PS3, I just missed that entirely. So I know basically nothing about it other than it's kind of like Tomb Raider in that you
So I
steal artifacts from indigenous
yeah,
people.
I think what people like kind of the previous ones were just like sort of the new Tomb Raider was based essentially the gameplay was based on Uncharted.
Okay.
I mean, Uncharted 3 is based on the original Tomb Raiders essentially, but much more updated.
Yeah.
But then, having played the new Tomb Raider and Uncharted game, there's lots of similarities in the sense the climbing and a lot of the combat's the same. They even have like anything that can be climbed has like white on it, like white chalk on it, so you can tell where you can climb on and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just it was a really good story game, and the gameplay is fun. And like, there's even a bit in it, for example, like they have fun with it in Uncharted 4. So there's even a bit in it where like you're with your wife, and she's like, if you can beat my score on this game, you don't have to do the dishes or whatever. And you actually play a level of Crash Bandicoot.
Oh yeah, because it's made by Naughty Dog as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
And on that note, they are doing the Insane trilogy. They're re-releasing the original 3 Crash Bandicoots.
Are they like remaking them then? Or is it...
Just updating the graphics. I'm not sure what else they're changing. Yeah. But it looks like the same games, but updated graphics, and I'm sure that'll sell very well because people want to. And I think essentially one of the level you play in the game might even be that.
So did they update the graphics for the one that you play then?
I don't remember actually.
Okay.
Probably not, I suppose. I mean, there was that thing a while ago where somebody there was this leaked picture of Crash Bandicoot poster or something, and then devs went, "No, we're not doing that," and then they did do it. So I'm very confused as to what they're on about.
Well, I do remember there was a news story that we did like last year at some point where some Sony developer was wearing a Crash Bandicoot t-shirt.
No, that was it.
And that became the news story. The fact he was merely wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, but the devs were just going, "No, we're not redoing Crash Bandicoot. We're not doing anything like that." But then they did, so it's it's a bit confusing. So interesting enough, I didn't realise there's actually an Uncharted movie coming.
Okay.
So there's a lot of gaming movies coming out recently. I don't know how Assassin's Creed did.
Apparently, it was utter crap. Like, it's just terrible, but okay.
Poor Michael Fassbender. I like him.
And also, what's her name? Marion... I can't remember her name. Person who's in Inception.
Oh, I see, right.
Lady who's in Inception. I cannot remember her name.
So the interesting things about this movie is that firstly, it apparently has an R-rated script.
Interesting.
And secondly, the devs at Naughty Dog know nothing about it. And the most interesting thing is the person who is producing the film said, I've heard the Naughty Dog guys are really happy with it, but who knows, this could be like Donald Trump hearing something that may not be true at all. And then one of the devs said, posted this on Twitter with a comment saying, a recent quote from the writer of the Uncharted film, "We know nothing about the film, wish he'd stop implying that he has our support."
Wow. Okay.
So the people making the film are like, yeah, the people at Naughty Dog love this, and are like, we have no idea what they're talking about. We have nothing to do with this. Sounds like they're trying to distance themselves from the failure that is probably going to happen because game movies have not been doing well.
I don't understand why the Ratchet and Clank movie performed so badly. I watched it and
it's true actually. I started watching it, and it was all right. Yeah,
it was a decent kids film. Yeah. I think specifically like this ones like the Assassin's Creed one flopped just because I don't know. It seems that they try to do too much with them. And...
Well, Assassin's Creed, see, the thing about Ratchet and Clank is why I would see it working as a movie was because it already had there were a reasonable number of cutscenes in the original Ratchet and Clank, and the sort of the storyline of it already was that sort of thing. It was a bit of a comedy.
It feels very Pixar.
Yeah, you could easily sort of transform into that. But Assassin's Creed, I don't know.
I feel like Uncharted of all games of that are probably that's one of the better ones.
I think it could get a movie.
Yeah, at least for the early games, the story for them, from what I've heard, is that you just sort of standard adventure film, going around stealing stuff from tombs.
Yeah,
I know nothing about Uncharted, and I have not really paid them any attention. I was trying to think about why, and I just realised that the only game that I've played remotely recently that is set in modern era is CS:GO.
That's not a recent game at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so interesting. Yeah.
Cool. And on that note, let's talk about games that we've been playing.
Okay.
God, it's been too long since we've done an episode. I played too much. and there's only 3 games I particularly want to talk about.
Well,
Okay.
then talk about
Talk about those 3 then.
First one is Nier.
Right.
Oh yeah, Samurai Dark Souls.
Samurai Dark Souls. I've played it a lot, and the combat is better than Dark Souls.
All right.
Interesting. Okay.
There's a lot more you can do. The combat's a lot more fluid, and there's like lots of you have like the skill tree that you can kind of unlock new skills in, and it kind of just adds a bit more depth into the combat.
So explain a bit, obviously, for people who haven't played it, about what sort of game it is.
So it's just like it's an action RPG in the same vein of Dark Souls, where you go through like a level having to fight like enemies, and each fight is dangerous. Everything can pose like everything is a danger to you if you're not paying attention or kind of not thinking while you fight. And then at the end of each level, there's a boss that you have to fight. And then the story of the game is pretty much like you were a pirate who found this, like who was in charge of like getting this really powerful magic substance for the queen. And then you get sent to jail, and then you get your guardian spirit stolen, and that gets taken to Japan.
Okay, yeah, so you're an English guy going to Japan.
Yeah. So, and you're just getting involved in this civil war, and you not knowing what's going on, and being like, I don't know what's going on.
From what I've heard, obviously, aside from the supernatural elements, like the guy who is the main character in this, it was an actual guy.
Everyone in it were actual people, and a lot of the events, remove the supernatural, were actual events.
Yeah. Wait, is he English or Irish?
He's Irish.
Okay, I've heard that the guy is actually English, but they changed him. Which one it was, they swapped him from English to Irish or Irish to English.
Like they say he's an English pirate. They describe him as English, but he grew up in Ireland.
Okay.
So he's made an orphan, and that's why he's immortal, because his parents, his village got raided. They all got killed, but because he believed in this fairy thing, it gave him immortality. And he's immortal for as long as he believes in that theory.
Interesting. Okay. I feel like after the first time you die and then come back to life, you would believe in them forever then.
Yeah, and no, but like you see them, they're your pal, and they get stolen.
Okay.
And the attention to detail in the game is fantastic. Like your guardian spirit is like an Irish, like an ancient Irish like myth. I think called a Mero. And she speaks in ancient Irish, which only like 100 people speak nowadays.
Wow.
One thing that I'd be interested to hear from you, because you liked basically all the Dark Souls games and also Bloodborne. One of the big things that people like about it is the fact that the world is pretty interconnected. So like, especially in like Dark Souls 1, you'll see a place and go, I can travel to there. Whereas in this one, it's more like instanced into levels, like separated levels that aren't connected. Do you think that takes away a bit, or do you think it works better as a result for this specific game?
I think it works better as a result for this specific game, because like you're just doing missions, and when you're doing the mission, the levels are actually quite big.
Yeah.
And so you can do multiple missions on the same like map or whatever. But like the map itself, you have like this nice progression. You're progressing from point A to point B, and everything is designed with that progression in mind. Whereas like in Souls, there's like a lot of backtracking, and there's it's nice, like mentally having everything interconnected and having everything fit well together.
Yeah.
But like running through it can be a chore, whereas you don't really have that as much in Nier.
I think in Nier as well isn't part of it because the story is more overt. Like you know exactly what's going on in the story.
Yes.
So I think it works a bit better the fact that it's more focused. So there's less exploration necessary to uncover the story. So maybe that's the reason that they did it.
Mind you, essentially all of the story is through cutscenes. Like at the start of levels and stuff like that. Okay. And even watching the cutscenes, I didn't understand what's going on. And what is really helpful is the fact that after I've unlocked a cutscene, or like fought an enemy or whatever, when you're in the like mission select menu, you can look at like previous cutscenes. You can look at like your like log. You can see like models of of enemies you fought with like descriptions and like their history and stuff like that. And each cutscene has like a description explaining what happens in the cutscene.
Huh,
so just read through all of those, like I understand the game now.
That's cool.
And then
what were the other games you've been playing?
I've also recently bought For Honor, and it's a shame that Henry isn't here.
Oh, because he's played a lot of it.
Yeah,
I've heard.
Bought it last night. Was initially going to buy it on the PS4, but they just made it too hard to buy it at a reasonable price.
Really?
Like on the PSN store, it was just the digital version and the deluxe version and the gold version.
Okay.
Which are like 50 and 60 quid.
What do you get for those versions? Is it just like cosmetics? Or?
You get extra cosmetics, you get extra of the in-game currency, and you get an amount of like emblems and it's just just stuff like, and you also get sometime like champion status. Champion status is a status that you can buy with in-game currency, which increases like the amount of XP you get and the amount of drops you get.
Okay, yeah.
And like I wasn't sure how many hours I was going to put into it, so I just wanted the standard version. And I noticed that Uplay like gives you 20% off if you spend some of their Uplay points.
Okay.
And I had a bunch of Uplay points from playing Assassin's Creed 2 in 2011.
That's quite cool. So, I think I have some from playing Far Cry 3 when they came out.
Yeah, I have 3 games on Uplay. That's Assassin's Creed 2, Far Cry Blood Dragon, which I have not opened, and For Honor now. And I guess I just really like combat RPGs in that way because I've just really been enjoying the combat.
I've heard that For Honor is closer in terms of like actual like gameplay to a fighting game than it is to like an action RPG like that.
Yes, that's
sort of combos you have to learn for it.
That's very true, but like the difference between that and like For Honor and like another like fighting game is that when you go to your like move list, it's not like 10 pages long.
Yeah, it's like you have to learn the combos to do a very select set of things that you'll have to master. Like it won't be 100 moves. You
have a few tricks, and like it's all about mastering them as opposed to memorizing lots of things. And I just really like stuff that has depth like that, like cool. Dark Souls and Neo and all of that. It's literally just how you like execute your plan or like mining games or whatever, as opposed to just like I know more combos than you and I know what counters what. The other game that I've been playing recently, which I can't really talk about much, is because I'm still kind of at the start, is Witcher 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I'm 8 hours into it, and that's still the start. But
I thought you were going to say, like, I've only played, like, 10 minutes of it, but 8 hours is pretty, still a fair amount into it. Although Witcher 3 is going to be quite a big game. So.
Yeah, it's a huge game. There's a lot in it. I've done, like, 3 of the main quests, and just a lot of walking around doing things, and, yeah. It's good so far, but it's hard playing Witcher combat after playing games with more polished combat.
Okay, is the combat not particularly good in it, or is it just sort of?
It's fine. It's more kind of typical action.
Okay, it's more gamey.
Yeah, it's more gamey. So I recently learned that just to keep mashing dodge, because you can dodge without using stamina forever, and then just get hits in when you want, and then just do that, and it's fine.
But the rest of the game, combat not included, you're really enjoying that.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the combat.
Okay.
It's just it's not as good as other games combat, but the combat's not the focus, so I'm fine with this. The focus is the characters, the plot, the world, the quests, and I'm enjoying all of that.
Cool. I'm still playing through Dishonored 2. I can't remember how much of it I'd played through when I last spoke in this, but I've been going through it very, very slowly. I'll do like a level and then not touch the game for a few weeks. Not because I haven't been enjoying it or anything, but like, I don't know, I'll just like find something else to play. But Dishonored 2 is genuinely really, really good. It kind of hurts that like I don't really know anyone else other than Henry. I don't know anyone else who even bought it.
I see.
I don't think it sold that well, but it's very good. And the most recent level I played is fairly unlike any level that they've done before for it. Basically, you have to decide who your target is of 2 people. You decide who you want to go with. But instead of doing any of that at the level, like at the very start of the level, there's literally like a split path. You go to the left and it's the whole level. You go to the right and there is a massive like locked door which will lead you directly into the next level for it, which is like some secret hidden away bunker that you're trying to get to. Right. And the lock on it was designed by some crazy inventor person which you previously dealt with. And it's possible to just solve the door, but this puzzle on it is genuinely one of the hardest puzzles I've ever done in a video game.
What type of puzzle is it?
It's a riddle, and the solution, to open the door, you have to enter the solution. So there are 5 people and there are 5 heirlooms, and you have to read this story which is about 4 or 5 or 6 paragraphs, and it gives you clues as to who owns which thing. And you basically, the way that I had to solve it was getting pieces of paper out and writing like huge tables to work out. And apparently this is just the standard way you do this puzzle, because everyone online says it's not possible to do this in your head or in the game. You have to just like screenshot it and then work it out on paper. But it was genuinely really fun working that out, but it took a long time. The way I did that level though is I solved that riddle and then got the achievement for it, because there's an achievement for not looking for any clues or anything like that. Got the achievement and then immediately went back and just did the level anyway. So that was pretty fun.
Can't miss that content.
Exactly, yeah.
But
waste of a level.
I kind of missed the era of having to write notes down to be able to like play a game or something.
It reminds me of us randomly seeing Charles playing, what was it, Abduction.
Oh yeah.
And there was this essentially this elevator with
Abduction. It's like the developers of Myst, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. It was a base. Was it base 4 or something? There was like
there
was like this panel with like a base 4 number system and connections and stuff, and we just sat there for ages trying to work out what
It was like this massive grid of people in pods, and you had to find specifically which pod.
Yeah.
And there was hundreds of pods, but you were given a number in base 4, and there was like clues in other bases. God, it was so. Yeah, it's one of the few games that I like that, and it just took forever.
Yeah.
I can imagine why.
But the thing is, what was nice about it was we turned up. We just happened to like. Well, I think I wandered on, and then you turned up after that. And then that was probably all the fun that I would have gotten from that game. I should think. So I turned up to Charles's room just for that, all that fun. They didn't have to have the hassle of the rest of the game, because apparently there was a lot of walking everywhere.
Yeah, Dishonored 2 is interesting. They seem to have gone a very strange route where they'll introduce a mechanic, and the mechanic will be really, really fun, and then it will go, okay, that's it for that mechanic. We don't need to use that again. So literally it will just be something really cool and clever. Like in one of them, it's called the Clockwork Mansion, and it's the inventor's house, where there are switches everywhere, and when you pull them, the rooms will just rearrange, and like walls will fall back, and like furniture will change, and there's areas where you can sneak around behind the walls and everything, go into the clockwork for it. But it's really, really cool and interesting. So you've got to avoid guards by like moving yourself and the rooms around, and then it never comes up again. And then the next one, it will be like, oh, you're in the dust district now, so horrible dust storms come through, and guards can't see you as well when that's happening, but you can't see anything while it's going on, and you can't use certain powers. It's really cool, but then that's only in that one level. But yeah, so you get to try loads of really interesting stuff.
Interesting.
I really like it. I think it's a good way to. Obviously, it's a hell of a lot of design work on their part, but it's very fun. And it's a good way to, even though the gameplay is very similar to Dishonored 1, I haven't got tired of it like at all because of these changes to it.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. Well, like I really enjoyed Dishonored 1 when I did my first playthrough, and then went to do a second playthrough and just was so tired of it.
And it's different enough, I think, because of this new stuff.
That's like the only reason I just not paid any attention to Dishonored 2, because I was terrified that I'd just get bored and a few missions in.
The level that I'm just starting is one where you're given access to an item which is a set of mirrors, and you can look through the mirrors and it shows you this same location in different time periods, and you can switch time periods to like access different things. So like a room will be collapsed in one time period and it will be there in another, but there may be guards in it. So basically you've got to switch between time periods to get through this mansion to find a guy.
That's quite neat.
Yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of stuff like that.
Are you playing anything else?
I finished off Pokemon Moon. That was surprisingly good. I really enjoyed that game. I talked about it quite a bit last time, but I genuinely think that was the most I've enjoyed a Pokemon game in, like, I don't know, maybe a decade? Whenever...
Very good generation.
Yeah. Whenever Heart Gold came out, that was the last time I properly enjoyed a Pokemon game. I played Diamond and stuff like that, and X and Y was alright, I guess, but this one was actually really fun.
Did you capture all the Ultra Beasts?
No, I haven't done. That's like the post-game quest for it, so once you've beaten the Pokemon League, the game expands again, you do more stuff. I haven't done that yet, but I finished the main story.
With Officer Looker making a comeback.
Yeah. That's quite cool as well, actually. They take characters from the previous games and bring them back in. Like, also as well as, because Officer Looker was a character in X and Y, but they also, in the expansion bit afterwards, there's characters from Pokemon Emerald, Ruby and Emerald, that are just random new characters in it that they have new roles in, which is quite cool. I was like, I kind of recognise this person. Where do I recognise them from? And I looked up, it was like, this is a minor, like, gym person from Pokemon Emerald. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. They're making an actual world, but yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah. Other than that as well, I'm playing more Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley.
Yeah, still really enjoying it. I'm still looking forward to them to releasing multiplayer. Like, it's coming at some point this year, and they announced that the game's coming out on Switch. So, and that's the platform that's going to get multiplayer first, and they'll send it out to the other ones. But yeah, that's quite good. Oh, also I got into the closed beta for Ukulele. So they had like a demo thing for it, which was it was called a toy box. So it was just sort of like a test level where they tested loads of different things. So they'd be like, oh, this is what water gameplay will be like. This is what combat's like. This is what puzzles will be like. That's quite fun. I played it. It took about an hour and a half to complete. I 100%ed the little demo thing for things you can collect. But yeah, it was really fun.
Oh, good.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. As for me, I've been playing a little bit of Kingdoms of Amalur.
Okay.
It's an older game.
Yeah.
Very standard RPG sort of thing.
I played a bit of that as well.
But,
what do you think of it?
I mean, yeah. So I
You don't seem very enthusiastic.
well,
about
I've been playing a lot of small things. That's the thing. I played most. I played a big chunk of it, and then kind of like, yeah. I mean, it is the weirdest thing. When I'm playing it, I'm like enjoying it and want to like keep on doing like quest after quest and stuff. But when I stop playing, I'm like, I don't want to pick that up. But anytime I pick it up, I just play it for a long time. But then I just don't want to pick it up again.
What sort of game is it?
It's a really standard. Like it's quite an old. I'm trying to think of the game it's most like.
It's pretty typical like RPG there.
Mm-hmm.
But the combat is
combat is
yeah,
good.
Yeah. It's very simple though. It's just like it's mostly. Well, actually, I don't know. Sorry, you can. Yeah, I have been doing it really simple in the sense that I've pretty much exclusively taken passives, and so I just kill everything in like 2 hits. But
the game looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. How old is it then?
It's a couple, 2-3 years old, I think.
Okay.
No, I think it's way older than that.
It seemed. I definitely remember.
Yeah, I think.
No, we played it in when we were in Somerset House, so.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Somerset Road. I played it once.
Okay.
I thought it was really old. It's definitely. I think it.
Because I remember it coming out when Ryan.
So it is 5 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like one of the guys working on it. It's like a famous fantasy author, so that's why people hyped up for it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
and
just
also
like
one of the designers is Todd McFarlane, which I think is he's a comic artist. That's quite cool.
right, yeah. But yeah, it's quite. I've done barely any of the story because I've been doing so much side stuff. Because every time I do a side thing, I run into another side thing.
Yeah.
And that's been happening constantly for a while now.
I don't know about you, but like when I was playing the game, I thought it looked really pretty, and I thought the combat was fun. But I just could not care about the plot, the quest, or the story.
Oh yeah.
So it very, very quickly turned into game I play when I'm drunk.
Right. I see. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I haven't really been paying attention to anything. I've just been doing stuff to like improve my character and like level up and stuff. Essentially, I mean, the storyline is I really haven't done much of the storyline because I just don't really, as you say, I don't care, and it doesn't really make like. I mean, all the storyline has been so far is that the main character doesn't make sense. Which means that the storyline in itself isn't really making that much sense but I like how it's approached because the lore in it is like it's Fae based, so there's lots of there's lots of that lore in it, and that's quite interesting.
So you've got like the summer elves and the winter elves, and they're like actually different, and then they kind of like are in harmony together and all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and also one of the interesting things about it is that, so for example, Fae, when they die, they just come back. Okay. So, like a really interesting side quest I came across recently was there was this guy who was like, "Do you want to help me out with this ritual I do every like however long?" Because the guy who usually turns up to do it hasn't turned up. And then he like starts the ritual, and it's like loads of enemies attack you, and at the end of it, he's like, "No, you're meant to die for the ritual," and you're like, "But I don't want to die." It's pretty good. And the other thing I played a bit of last weekend, I went back home and said one of my friends has the PlayStation VR, and I've only briefly tried out VR at the PC Gamer Weekend that we went to.
Oh yeah.
That's the first time I tried it. I thought it was amazing. And so when I heard he had PlayStation VR, I was like, I want to try it out. It's not as good as the Vive, but it's still the only thing, it feels a bit cheaper. Like I think the only thing that I really noticed was, firstly, the hand things look dumb.
Like the controllers for it.
But yeah, the controllers.
What do they look like?
That doesn't matter.
Know
like,
they look
they're like just sticks with like circular rubber balls on top that light
up. Is that just a PlayStation Move?
I
think they're just
PlayStation Move.
Yeah,
okay,
I think
right.
PlayStation Move is just that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So the VR headset's like cheaper, but that means it is lighter, I suppose, is one of the main things. The only real issue was that like the eyepieces steamed up a lot, and I don't know whether that's because that didn't happen when I was using.
So was it? Are they wireless, or is the headset wireless or wired?
It's wired.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, yeah. As soon as they get VR stuff that actually doesn't have the long cables trailing behind you, it's going to make a massive jump forward.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's a huge hassle.
But I mean, you just get like, also he has quite a small apartment, so like, I must have punched the wall like 5 times because we played. So we did 2 things. So we played a load of Job Simulator, which was the thing I played at PC Gamer Weekender, and really enjoyed it. It was the demo. So there's just a lot more things you can do on every level. Firstly. And in addition to that, there's 4 different jobs you can do. So there's an office job, there's a chef, there's a car mechanic, and a store clerk. And there's just different mechanics on all of them. It's just like in VR, anything's fun. You're just throwing stuff at people and stuff like that. And that's how you punch the walls, when you start throwing things at people and just.
Yeah, when we're playing Job Simulator, because when we played at the PC Gamer Weekender, there was just a screen in front of everyone who wasn't playing, and we could see exactly what the person in the headset could see. And it was basically just us shouting at them to just try different things, like try juggling with salt or something, try sticking a stapler inside the copier, and if you put the stapler in the copier and turn it on, it produces another stapler, and just weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could also like dig around in the bin, and there'd be like a donut in the bin, and you could just eat the donut and you throw up everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is like, so this is the thing. My friend also had it set up on his television at the same time. So so it is a really social can be a really social type of gaming. Especially because you can like tease the person with the headset on by like poking them at a tense moment or whatever. But yes, and like we got some other people over and they were trying for one of the most fun things about it is not even playing yourself, it's seeing somebody play it for the first time and them just going wow, like over and over again, and like doing all this stuff, and like the first thing everybody does when the first time they play Job Simulator is just throw things everywhere, every item that you can pick up. Like you can even like take glasses and hats off people and wear them. And like, there's one thing where you can like enlarge the size of it. So like, every person who came into in the store clerk one, somebody who's playing store clerk one, every time that you like take their hat or the glasses, put it on the enlarging thing, and put it back on, and it would look ridiculous. And like, I think he was like, you like give them their change and stuff, and every time you'd give them their change, you'd like quickly grab it, and you could take their change back off them, and it'd be like thank you, and then they'd leave. But it's just quite amazing. The other thing. We played was the X-Wing. So on Battlefront, it comes with Battlefront. I think if you already have it, it's just like a little like tech demo. You don't actually use the proper VR controllers. You're just using the normal PS4 controller for it.
Cool.
But it's really cool. Mainly because, of course, in like jobs, like, so one of the main things right now is that obviously you can't move around that much with VR. So Job Simulator is fine because you're like in a cubicle or like behind a desk or something. But it works even better for X-Wing because you're in the cockpit, so you're sitting in this cockpit, and so and like dogfighting and stuff. Like, it doesn't matter that you're using the controller because like it's so cool because you can, if you're flying forwards and something's like flying, you can look to your side and watch it and like you can like turn around. Like the only problem is really cool. The only problem is that me and the other person who played the full demo felt motion sick afterwards.
Okay.
Because you were proper like flying
do you get motion
around
sickness
and
in cars and stuff?
No.
Or? Oh, okay.
So this is the thing. I do not get motion sick, but I felt motion sick after that.
How long were you playing it for then? Was it quite a long time, or
probably like 15 minutes maybe.
Oh wow, okay.
Maybe 10-15 minutes sort of.
So you got motion sick. Okay, that's interesting.
And that only like half of that was dogfighting. Most of it was just fly around. The other thing is really cool. all the buttons in the cockpit do things, and of course, like you can really zoom in, and they look so 3D. And like, there's one button which brings up the thing like that Luke Skywalker has, and it's like when he's going down it comes up and like has things going on. It is so cool. It's just like that level of it's really it makes me excited about VR, and I think every person that we had round was like, now I'm going to have to get VR. I think this is the thing. Nobody cares about VR until you actually try it, and then you realise how good it is.
I really want it to become affordable, and there to be a bit more... Because once you've gotten over the whole, like, showing it to people, it's like, well, now I've got a very expensive piece of tech.
As soon as it's affordable, and as long as there's one good space sim title, like if Elite Dangerous properly like adopts like VR, then I'm sold.
I mean, it really helps with dogfighting, because of course when you're limited to just looking forwards in your ship, that's an issue. But if you like actually like looking at, you can look around and stuff like that. You can actually stick your head. The problem is you can actually stick your head outside like the windows and stuff. So like just going, hey, I'm in space, you know.
Yeah, I've seen a thing where it might have been like Forza or something else, they were showing off some VR game for it. So like, you just sit in this chair and you play it, and they have like the steering wheel and everything, and the first thing that most people do is literally just like take a step to the side and you're outside of the car just driving along and you're steering from outside the car.
The issue is like this, I think that is one of the big things about VR. What choice do you make? Do you force because you can, without actually building the thing around the person, you can't actually simulate walls and things. So do you allow the person to clip through walls, or do you have the person keep moving but the camera stop moving at that point?
That is interesting.
Because both break immersion, but one of them I feel is fun and funny. The other one is like,
as long as
that's weird, you can't go through
hard to like do it accidentally, I guess that's the main thing for it. That does bring up an interesting point though. Like when we were at the PC Gamer Weekender, one of the stalls for the VR stuff was they had like a pre-built maze. It was like a really simple thing, like in a square room, and it was like really, really easy. But some person was playing a game where they were walking through like an Aztec temple, and the walls that were in front of them related to walls that were in the game, and they kept walking around the maze, and they'd reach a certain point, and it would be like a thing on the floor, and it would take them to another floor. So it would be like a lift. So from their perspective, they've moved to a different room. But they're literally just walking the same maze over and over again. But like there are walls and new traps, but in different places. And that's really cool. It makes me think that a good thing that VR is going to get is there'll be, I don't know, arcades and stuff will build these pre-built experiences, so people can go in and try a VR experience that maybe involves you, like, I don't know, climbing over a couple of boxes. You just put some boxes in a room and put them in the VR world as well. And that's fun. Just
some sort of like a VR version of Laser Quest, not even but as in like a first-person shooter with actual cover and stuff like that would be really cool. You don't even need to have the other players. I think people would just a couple of friends or whatever, you need to go down there.
We should convince the Board Game Cafe to have a VR room, or just do it ourselves.
Buy a Vive. £700.
Buy a warehouse, make terrain.
We should probably call it that. Then.
Yes,
it's quite a long one.
So that was a long one because we haven't been around for a while. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Goodbye.